So I'm here with Jessica Lily Crew from photography, from FD Photography. Nice for you to join us.
Thank you.
So who inspired you for the piece of work that you've done for your end of year?
There was no particular inspiration as such. It was more of like I saw that I wanted to do something called an editorial, which is basically like a theme-inspired photo shoot. So I really like the idea of balloons. So I kind of did this. I interpreted balloons into my fashion editorial, and I called it Helios, which is like, it's where helium comes from. So that was the inspiration behind my shoot. And then the colours of balloons, like the primary colours of balloons, were what inspired the clothing of the shoot and stuff. And Topshop was a massive, like, their handouts and stuff that I based my final product on ones that I had discovered and stuff.
So were the colours in relation to the emotions of them?
Not particularly. It was just like I found the colours of balloons to be quite fun, quite, you know, it was supposed to be a fun photo shoot. So.
And who helped with you with that?
I had the help of Charlie McDonald, makeup artist. She was amazing, like really, really good to work with, really fun girl. And then I had a model called Coral, and she was quite young, which fitted the requirements for the model for the shoot. So that really helped, and she was really good to work with. So that was my help. But I did everything. I did the photography, the setup, and the organising and everything myself.
So would you say you're a bit of a pro at photography, or do you just do it for the fashion, really?
I wouldn't like to say I'm a pro just yet, but hopefully learning. I would like to do fashion photography. Well, that's my aspiration. So it's fun to be able to do it during this course.
Okay, excellent, Jessica. Thank you for joining us.
No problem.
I'm Natalie Irvin. I'm a BA student at the Manchester College doing the Creative Media and Visual Design course, and I've been working on putting together and creating a children's interactive audio book. Danny and his dog Chico is the book, and it's where the children can illustrate the pictures to the story themselves, and it has the audio to complement the story and the pictures, and helps get their creative juices flowing and engages them in the story. And yeah, the children really loved it. It went really well. I had actors from the Arden Theatre come in and do the voiceovers for the audio with added sound effects to keep, the juices, the creative juices going. And again, it was just something else to do to take them away from today's world of technology and to actually get them.
Tell us a bit about your course.
Okay, so I do photography, and I chose to do it because I just always had a passion for photography, so it's something I wanted to do. I think it's taught me a lot. We've done like InDesign, which is a lot of graphical typography and things, which broadened my horizons a lot. It's made me interested in a lot of different things. So.
Yeah. So what are the main projects that you've worked on in the last 2 years?
Okay, so the first one that we did was like about Britain. We've done one a lot. I chose to do about depression, which is really interesting. A lot of depth into it. The last one that I've just done, I have been inspired by Pre-Raphaelite and Renaissance, so very artistic feel to it.
All right, so I see a lot of people see photography as just taking some pictures. There's a lot more to it, as you can see, because you've done about depression, you've done different projects. Great, so you talked about your skills that you've gained. Do you know anything? Can you say anything else about the skills that you've gained?
I think a lot of, obviously, we've learned about like Photoshop, InDesign, a lot of things.
Editing suites.
Yeah, so it's going to like benefit me.
Definitely, do you think that this experience will be good for you for your future job?
Definitely. I still don't know what I want to go into. I know it's wanted to be something with like art, fashion, artistic like feel to it, but nothing in particular. No, I don't know what I want to do yet.
No. So how do you feel about the work that you produce? Do you think that you've done a good job overall?
Yeah, I started off, I had a huge mind block of like what I wanted to do. We have 2 units, a Unit 9 and a Unit 10. And in my Unit 10 I was doing an essay about like how women are portrayed, and I'm really interested in, from at A-levels, Pre-Raphaelite and Renaissance, so that's how I kind of got started on it, that's how I was like inspired. So I just like began from my essay really, so it just took one step up to another.
All right, brilliant. Thank you for talking.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
The work that Jack Ware has produced.
I'm Chris Ware.
I'm Glenn.
And together we are the Awesome Deep. Lobos was playing one of his better sets, and it was that was pretty inspirational for me, and the thought about DJing probably dawned on me watching him play at that time really. Main hindrance really from starting DJing was the layout. At the time I was a student, so it's quite an initially expensive hobby to start, and so I think that's probably one of the reasons I didn't even think about doing it. But yeah, the thought probably dawned. Main hindrance really from starting DJing was the layout. At the time I was a student, so it's quite an initially expensive hobby to start, and so I think that's probably one of the reasons I didn't even think about doing it. But yeah, the thought probably dawned on me then at Warehouse.
4 or 5 vinyl was sort of 50 quid, you know. I managed to get the Technics, the same ones there actually, when I was 15. And that's when I sort of knew the decks, it's our sound system and the speakers and
the vinyl then.
It was the vinyl.
Yeah.
You know, everything you earn, you buy 4 or 5 vinyl was sort of 50 quid, you know. I managed to get the Technics, the same ones there actually, when I was 15. And that's when I sort of knew something I wanted.
So yeah, probably initially a means to an end, but I love production just as much as I do DJing. Yeah, so it's something that I've seen behind you. It's almost a must now, which is a shame because there's a lot of very talented DJs who can't produce, and therefore they'll stay at the same sort of level and not progress beyond that. So yeah, probably initially a means to an end, but I love production just as much as I do DJing. Yeah, so it's something that I've sort of
help with some friends just to sort of guide us slightly on what to do.
Yeah, so steep in that, yeah, get around the technical know-how. We just didn't really know what we were quite doing. But as soon as we sort of latched on to what was the right way of doing things and getting the certain plugins for certain sounds and things like that you need. After that, I mean, we always knew musically what we wanted to try and create. It was just trying to find the right sound and how you manipulate that in your music production. And then as soon as we sort of started to get into that, then yeah.
Hello and welcome back to the Umbrella Show. Now I'm joined with one of the broadcast television students on
art style. Great
Huh?
for you to be here.
Actually, could you just tell me, what does the broadcast television course entail for those people who might want to be doing it in the future?
Okay, so I get asked this quite a lot. I kind of explain it as like similar to what the BBC do. We do basically we film pretty much anything: documentaries, sports, couple of dramas here and there. Live action events, live events as in music, music videos, and so on. Really, everything pretty much.
So, what skills would you say you need to come on this course? Because obviously it's very challenging. Obviously, 'cause it's very hands-on.
At the start, I don't think you can pretty much come here with pretty much nothing. It's one you need. All you need really is passion. You need a passion for camera work or passion to be creative. And if you're really creative, then you're designed for this course.
And what's your passion? Who inspires you?
As inspiration, I'm more of I like Ridley Scott. I like Quentin Tarantino. I'm more bespoke filming. Obviously wanting to be a director as well.
Yeah.
They're the people I look up to.
So, from that point of view, what sort of gear do you need if you're going to start doing this, on your own, yourself, shooting indie films and etc.?
Well, the best thing I've found is that lately, with the 21st century coming in, it's quite a lot of DSLR stuff. So, you buy a cheap Canon 550 and start off with that, and then you build up your body, and obviously you get better over time. Definitely, if you're going to use DSLR, you need some sort of sound device, sound recorder. If you're going to go a bit more expensive, then I think about maybe getting a Panasonic V2 or maybe a Sony V1. They're decent cameras as well.
I'm just going to briefly go over your documentary. What did you base your documentary on this year?
Okay, my documentary was about two individuals who I deem as kind of semi-pro BMXers. One of them has been signed by a clothing company. The other is trying to get out there. And basically, it's a progression of why they get on the bike and why they do what they do, and why, after coming off, hurting themselves, why do they get back on the bike? And just kind of why BMXing? Why not like
football?
Football. Yeah. That's about it, really.
Excellent. Ashley Artystyle, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Who's on next?
Don't know.
My name's Josh Fidali, I'm from Manchester, and I'm a bike mechanic at Halford. You've got the two lifts, the snatch and the clean and jerk. The snatch is the technically harder lift. It's a wide grip. You start on the ground. The lift isn't officially started until you pass your knees, and then once you've got it past your knees, you got to drive it up in one big motion and get it over your head. You got to stand up straight with it and then wait for the referee to say down, and that's that lift complete. There's only a few things that you can do wrong in the snatch, bent elbows, or just completely missing the lift. There's not much else that you can actually do to fail it, but you need to master the technique, otherwise you won't get anywhere near the sort of weight potential that you're up to. And then you've got the clean and jerk, which is the easier technically, but because of that they expect a higher demand on the weight, so it's a narrow grip, two-part movement, the clean up to your chest and then the jerk over your head. I've represented Great Britain and England as two separate organisations, so I've represented Great Britain at the European Youths, the European Juniors and the European Under-23s, all various countries that I've been to representing, and I've represented them at the World Youths as well, and I've represented England, which is a completely separate organisation, because you're lifting against other Youth Britain countries such as Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland. And I represented them in India at the Commonwealth Youth Games. Basically, what I've been told is I started off it was a tight shoulder, and because my shoulder was pushed forward and was tight, that was forcing my elbow to becoming, so it's basically be in the wrong position, and because my elbow was in the wrong position, it caused my wrist to be in the wrong position, and that's where all the weight goes onto your wrist. So it was a chain reaction of loads of things, which is, I saw the Great Britain doctor as well, and he first gave me a cortisone injection, which is like a steroid-based injection, which is supposed to numb the pain and allow for it to heal whilst being pain-free. It lasted about a week, and it was killing again. And then that's when I had the MRI scan, and then they did the cortisone again, but I think it was a bit more effective the second time round, and now it's on the mend. My wrist now isn't fully healed, but it is on the mend. Doing all the stretching and flexibility exercises is really helping. You're doing some core exercises, building up the muscles that support the wrist. To represent Great Britain at the Olympics was the highest achievement in weightlifting. It would just be the ultimate goal for any weightlifter. It's the biggest competition in the world.
So tell us a bit about your course.
My course at the minute is basically photography. It's mostly on theory and art, and well, that's how I feel about it anyway. That's what I want to take away from it. And at the minute it's actually set me up for working in the real world, and yeah, it's pretty productive.
Okay, so what are the main projects that you've worked on this year and last year?
Last year they were self-directed. At the end of last year was self-directed.
Yes, what did you do for that?
Sorry, the end of last year was basically documentary in fashion. So basically that set me up to go into fashion, take pictures in studios system, and then come at the end of this was self-directed. So it was basically taking pictures of my own personal experiences from the past.
Oh, right,
and that's what we see today in my pictures here.
Oh, right, brilliant. So what was give us an idea of what you took, for example, what was the style of your pictures?
The style of my pictures, I would say they are self-portraits, and they're dark, so they're looking into my past.
Right.
And trying to basically illustrate how I felt during that time in my past. So I would say they're definitely self-portraits, and I would consider myself a portrait photographer.
Do you feel like the work that you produce is good for the course? Do you feel like, are you happy with the work?
I'm happy. Actually, I would say the tutors now at this course are the strongest it's ever been, simply because we've talked to them, got their guidance on how we think they should take the course,
yeah,
where they think we want the course to go, and it's just, I couldn't ask for better tutors and a better course, yeah.
So have you been on any trips in the last couple of years? Have you been, with the course? Have you been to see anything, experience anything?
We've been to London.
Oh, brilliant, yeah.
Yeah, showed us around exhibitions, and it was great for us, yeah.
Right, brilliant. Anyway, thank you for coming to interview.
Thank you.
When I started, in the early 80s, before there was house music, soul and funk, hip-hop came, hip-hop was there, but it sort of made its bigger mark in the mid-80s. And then I was doing DJ work, club-wise, but eventually I ended up on Piccadilly Radio in July of 86. And that was really the time where house music was a new style of music.
Yeah, this is a documentary made called House Revival. It's about the history of house music. There's interviews with house music DJs, Graham Master, Mark XDC, Stu Allen, Dean Savage and Cy Forestieri, who are all DJs from the Manchester area. The documentary is about Hacienda's influence on house music, and also it explains the history of house music, where it all began. And it also tells the viewer about why it suddenly made a comeback, and there's lots more nights advertised in the next couple of years, coming up all the time. Yeah, that's it. I've filmed Club Nights at Venus and Club Walrus, and also backed by Dope Demand, which is a well-known Northwest club night. So yeah, watch the documentary.
Hi again, I'm here with Misha Wood from New Media. Thanks for joining us. So Misha, what exactly did you do for your end of year project this year?
So I studied New Media Design, which is a cross between media and animation. And for my end project, I did a fashion application for my client, which is Ferry. So I designed a mobile application.
Okay, so I imagine that's quite